Welcome, dear listener. You have arrived at a quiet edge of the universe, a place where curiosity softens into calm and knowledge becomes a gentle lullaby. Tonight, you are invited to rest, while a devoted, methodical, endlessly precise scientific mind guides you through one of the most profound processes in existence, the birth of stars, not rushed, not simplified, carefully explained, patiently revisited, and lovingly examined from every possible angle. This journey is narrated by a familiar kind of voice, the voice of a theoretical physicist who finds comfort in equations, safety in order, and peace in the unchanging laws of the cosmos. A voice that believes the universe is not chaotic, but deeply structured, predictable, and in its own precise way, beautiful. As you listen, you may notice a gentle repetition, a fondness for detail, and a reassuring certainty that everything follows rules, even sleep. If you find comfort here, consider supporting the channel by subscribing, allowing these long-form journeys to continue drifting gently into countless nights. Your presence, even in silence, matters. Now, allow your shoulders to soften, let your breathing slow, dim the lights around you, or close your eyes entirely. You do not need to understand everything. You do not need to remember anything. The universe will continue behaving exactly as it should. Without your supervision, settle in. The journey is about to begin. Before a star can be born, it is essential. And I use the word essential in its most literal, non-poetic sense, to understand that stars do not appear suddenly. They are not ignited like matches, nor assembled like furniture with missing instructions. A star is the inevitable consequence of physics being allowed to proceed without interruption for a very, very long time. This is comforting. Inevitability is comforting. In the beginning, and by beginning, I mean a time scale spanning millions of years, which is objectively reasonable. There exists a nebula. A nebula is not dramatic. Despite what colorful images may suggest, it is mostly empty. Vast regions of cold, diffuse gas and microscopic dust particles drift quietly through space, maintaining an impressive commitment to doing almost nothing at all. This inactivity is not laziness, it is equilibrium. These clouds are composed primarily of hydrogen, the simplest and most abundant element in the universe. One proton, one electron. Elegantly, uncomplicated. Helium is also present, along with trace amounts of heavier elements, which, while statistically insignificant, are emotionally satisfying to acknowledge. At first, the nebula remains suspended in a delicate balance. Gravity attempts to pull particles together. Thermal motion attempts to keep them apart. Neither wins. This stalemate can persist for eons, which is a respectable duration by any scientific standard. Eventually, something happens. Something always happens. Perhaps a nearby star ends its life in a supernova, sending shock waves through space. Perhaps galactic rotation compresses the cloud. Perhaps gravity simply grows impatient. The cause is less important than the outcome. A region within the nebula becomes slightly denser than its surroundings. Slightly is sufficient. Gravity, being both persistent and utterly incapable of subtlety, notices this imbalance and begins pulling more matter toward it. As mass increases, gravitational attraction strengthens. This is known as a positive feedback loop, which is both scientifically fascinating and personally relatable. The cloud begins to contract. As it contracts, particles fall inward, converting gravitational potential energy into kinetic energy. Kinetic energy becomes heat. Temperature rises. This is not metaphorical warmth. This is quantifiable thermal excitation. The cloud, once cold and indifferent, begins to warm from within. At this stage, we refer to the object as a protostar. The prefix proto is important. It means not finished. This is reassuring. Many things in the universe are unfinished. Some never finish. This is acceptable. The protostar continues collapsing. Its core grows denser, Pressure increases. Temperature increases further. Hydrogen atoms, once content to drift aimlessly, are now packed so tightly that they have little choice but to interact. This is where patience becomes critical. Fusion does not begin immediately. Nature does not rush. The core must reach approximately 10 million degrees Kelvin. This is warm, not subjectively warm, objectively, catastrophically warm. At these temperatures, protons move fast enough to overcome their natural electromagnetic repulsion. They collide. They fuse. Hydrogen becomes helium. In the process, a tiny amount of mass is converted into energy, precisely as described by Einstein's equation, which I will not recite now. Out of courtesy, energy radiates outward. This moment, the ignition of nuclear fusion, is the birth of a star, not symbolically, literally. Before this, the object was a collapsing cloud. After this, it is self-sustaining. Gravity pulls inward. Fusion pushes outward. Balance is achieved. This balance, called hydrostatic equilibrium, is the star's entire personality. For millions or billions of years, the star will remain in this state, steadily converting hydrogen into helium, releasing light and heat into the surrounding space. This energy travels vast distances. Some of it, eventually, reaches planets. Some of those planets develop life. Some of that life invents theoretical physicists who find this entire process deeply soothing. The star does not know it is shining. It does not care. It obeys physics. This obedience is its greatest virtue. As you listen, allow your thoughts to follow this collapse gently inward, like particles drawn by gravity. There is no urgency, no danger, only slow accumulation, steady warming, and the quiet certainty that given enough time, structure will emerge from stillness. Your breathing can mirror this process. Slow, regular, predictable. The universe is forming stars. You are allowed to rest. Once a star has begun its life, and by life, we mean a prolonged period of controlled nuclear reactions, governed by strict physical laws, it settles into what scientists refer to as the main sequence. This name is efficient, descriptive, and comfortingly unromantic. The star is no longer experimenting. It has found its routine. Routine, it should be noted, is not boring. Routine is stability. Stability is survival. Inside the star's core, hydrogen atoms continue to fuse into helium with unwavering dedication. This process releases an immense amount of energy, which presses outward in every direction. Gravity, which has not lost interest, presses inward with equal determination. Neither force wins. This stalemate is not conflict. It is cooperation through opposition. The star remains exactly the size it needs to be. This balance is extraordinarily precise. If fusion were slightly stronger, the star would expand, cool, and slow its reactions. If gravity were slightly stronger, the star would contract, heat up, and accelerate fusion. The system self-corrects, like a well-designed algorithm. This is satisfying. Energy produced in the core does not escape immediately. Photons, tiny packets of light, begin a long meandering journey outward. They collide with particles, change direction, lose and regain energy. What should be a straight path becomes a random walk that can take tens of thousands of years. This means that the light warming your skin from a star began its journey long before recorded history. This fact is best contemplated while lying still. As the energy finally reaches the surface, it radiates into space. The star shines. It illuminates dust. It warms planets. It defines habitable zones with mathematical indifference. Stars do not shine because they wish to be seen. They shine because physics leaves them no alternative. The mass of the star determines nearly everything about its future. A smaller star burns fuel slowly, conservatively, like a careful scholar rationing snacks. A larger star burns furiously, extravagantly, with little concern for longevity. Both strategies are valid. Nature does not judge. Our own sun is a medium-sized star, which is statistically reassuring. It has been stable for billions of years and will continue to be so for billions more. This predictability allows life to develop schedules, circadian rhythms, and sleep patterns. You are participating in stellar consistency right now. While fusion continues, heavier elements are not yet formed. The star is still simple. Hydrogen becomes helium. Helium accumulates in the core like unread correspondence. Eventually, this accumulation will matter, but not yet. There is no hurry. The star's outer layers may ripple and shift. Convection currents rise and fall. Magnetic fields twist and reconnect. Sunspots appear, cooler and darker, briefly interrupting the uniform glow. These are surface details, not existential threats. From a distance, the star appears calm. From within, it is a precisely regulated furnace. This duality, serenity outward, intensity inward, is worth appreciating. As you listen, imagine yourself floating far from the star, at a distance where its light is gentle rather than overwhelming. You are safe. You are observing a system that has solved the problem of existence by adhering strictly to rules. There is something deeply relaxing about rules that never change. Time passes. Millions of years drift by unnoticed. The star remains faithful to its process. Hydrogen fuses. Energy flows. Gravity holds. Balance persists. You may notice your thoughts becoming slower now. This is appropriate. Stellar processes are slow. There is no advantage to thinking quickly in a universe that operates on billion-year schedules. If a thought arises, acknowledge it. Let it orbit briefly. Then allow gravity to pull it inward, where it can dissolve quietly, like hydrogen atoms, merging in silence. The star continues shining. You continue resting. To truly understand stars, and by understand I mean to feel appropriately reassured by their predictability, it is helpful to step back and consider not a single star, but the broader environment in which stars are born, live, and quietly influence everything around them. Stars are not solitary by nature. Although they may appear isolated when observed from great distances, they are usually born in groups, within vast stellar nurseries, where hundreds or thousands of protostars form from the same molecular cloud. This is not coincidence. It is efficiency. Gravity prefers to work in bulk. These regions are cold, dark, and dense, shielded from external radiation. Within them, gravity performs its slow, methodical work, drawing matter inward, creating pockets of collapse, each destined to become a star with its own mass, lifespan, and temperament. Some stars will be large and brief. Others will be small and enduring. This diversity is not random. It is statistical. As stars ignite, their radiation begins to influence their surroundings. Ultraviolet light strips electrons from nearby atoms, heating the gas, reshaping the cloud. Stellar winds, streams of charged particles, push outward, sculpting intricate structures in the remaining dust. Pillars, filaments, arcs. The universe expresses itself in geometry. This feedback can both trigger and suppress further star formation. One star's birth may compress a nearby region, encouraging collapse. Another may disperse material, preventing it. Cause and effect overlap. Outcomes depend on timing, distance, and mass. This complexity is not disorder. It is layered regulation. Over time, star clusters drift apart. Gravitational interactions rearrange orbits. Some stars are ejected, becoming solitary travelers through the galaxy. Others remain loosely bound, companions for millions of years before parting ways. Our own sun was likely born in such a cluster. Its siblings have long since scattered. There is no reunion planned. As stars move through the galaxy, they orbit the galactic center, completing vast circuits over hundreds of millions of years. These orbits are not perfect circles. They oscillate gently, rising and falling through the galactic plane. Like slow breaths, the galaxy itself rotates, a massive disk of stars, gas and dark matter, all participating in a gravitational agreement that has persisted for billions of years. Spiral arms form, not as fixed structures, but as density waves, regions where material lingers slightly longer, encouraging star formation. Stars pass through these arms, born, shining, evolving, and ending, while the larger pattern endures. Planets form from the disks of material left over after star formation. Dust grains collide, stick, grow. Rocks become worlds. Some remain barren, others develop atmospheres, oceans, chemistry. A few develop the remarkable property of wondering how they came to exist. Stars do not notice this. Their role is not to observe, but to provide energy. They flood their surroundings with light, enabling complexity wherever conditions allow. This generosity is automatic. Stars give because they cannot do otherwise. As you listen, consider the layers of support surrounding you. Gravity holds the Earth. The Earth rotates with predictable regularity. The sun rises and sets on schedule. The galaxy turns, structures within structures, all maintaining stability without requiring your attention. You do not need to monitor these systems. They have been functioning flawlessly without supervision for a very long time. Your only task now is to rest. Let your thoughts drift outward, then settle back in, like stars slowly migrating through their galactic orbits. There is no destination to reach. Motion itself is sufficient. The universe continues its patterns. You are safe to sleep within them. Although stars may seem distant and abstract, their influence is intimate and unavoidable. Every moment of warmth, every cycle of growth, every stable rhythm on a living world is quietly regulated by a star that obeys physics with unwavering discipline. Consider, for example, the steady output of energy from a star like our Sun. This output is remarkably consistent. Minor fluctuations occur, of course, magnetic cycles, surface activity, brief variations. But on the scale that matters for life, the Sun is dependable to an almost excessive degree. This dependability is not accidental. It is the result of deep internal regulation. If fusion in the core increases, the star expands slightly, cooling the core and slowing fusion. If fusion decreases, the star contracts, heating the core and accelerating reactions. The system corrects itself automatically. Self-regulation is a comforting concept. The light emitted by a star spans a broad spectrum: visible light, infrared warmth, ultraviolet energy. Each wavelength interacts differently with matter. Some warms surfaces, some drives chemical reactions, some is filtered by atmospheres, preventing damage. On Earth, this filtered sunlight powers photosynthesis. Plants convert light into chemical energy, forming the base of nearly every food chain. This process is slow, quiet, and persistent, an echo of stellar fusion translated into biology. Your own body is participating in this chain right now. The energy that sustains your muscles, your thoughts, your breathing, originated in a star, not metaphorically, literally. Stars also act as timekeepers. The rotation of a planet around its star defines days. The orbit defines years. These cycles regulate sleep, wakefulness, hormones, and behavior. Circadian rhythms are stellar rhythms, adapted locally. When you feel naturally tired at night, you are responding to a long-standing agreement between your biology and a star. Beyond warmth and timing, stars shape planetary environments through gravity. They hold planets in stable orbits, preventing them from drifting into the cold emptiness between stars. This gravitational embrace is constant, invisible, and reliable. Even tides, the gentle rise and fall of oceans, are influenced indirectly by stellar systems. Through their role in forming moons and stabilizing planetary rotation, everything connects. Stars also serve as beacons. Their light carries information across vast distances. By analyzing this light, scientists determine composition, temperature, motion, and age. Without ever touching a star, we know what it is made of. This knowledge does not disturb the star. It continues shining, unconcerned with observation. As stars age, their influence changes. A bright young star may emit intense radiation, shaping early planetary atmospheres. A stable middle-aged star provides consistency. An aging star alters its output, sometimes challenging existing systems. Life adapts where it can. Where it cannot, it ends. This is not cruelty. It is conditional existence. As you lie here, supported by a world shaped by stellar history, you can allow yourself to trust in systems larger than you. The star does not forget to rise. Gravity does not weaken unexpectedly. Physical constants do not change overnight. There is great relief in knowing that the universe is not improvising. If your thoughts wander, let them follow a beam of light from a star, traveling calmly through space, unaffected by obstacles, carrying energy without effort. You do not need to guide the beam. You only need to rest. As stars age, they do not rush toward their conclusions. There is no anticipation, no anxiety about what comes next. They simply respond, moment by moment, to the conditions within them. This quality, complete presence, is one that biological minds often struggle to achieve, but it comes naturally to stars. For a star like our sun, the later stages of life unfold gently. After the red giant phase and the shedding of outer layers, what remains is a white dwarf, a compact, dense core composed mostly of carbon and oxygen. It no longer produces energy through fusion. Instead, it glows faintly, releasing stored heat accumulated over billions of years. This cooling process is extraordinarily slow. White dwarfs persist for longer than the current age of the universe. They fade gradually, becoming dimmer, cooler, quieter, without urgency or resistance. Eventually, in a future so distant it defies intuitive comprehension, they become black dwarfs, theoretical objects that have cooled completely. The universe is not old enough for any to exist yet. Time, it seems, is still working. More massive stars end differently, but the principle remains the same. After supernova explosions, their cores collapse into neutron stars or black holes. These objects are extreme, but not chaotic. They obey the same physical laws as everything else, just under more intense conditions. A neutron star is matter compressed beyond ordinary experience. Protons and electrons merge. Atoms lose their identity. What remains is a dense, rapidly spinning object with powerful magnetic fields. Despite this intensity, neutron stars are stable. They spin, they pulse, they persist. Black holes, often misunderstood, are not cosmic destroyers. They are regions where gravity has become dominant, beyond a certain boundary. Matter crosses this boundary and becomes inaccessible, but the black hole itself remains defined by just a few parameters: mass, spin, charge. Simplicity emerges from extremity. Even black holes do not last forever. Over unimaginably long timescales, they slowly lose energy and evaporate. The universe allows nothing to remain unchanged indefinitely. What matters is that every stellar ending contributes to cosmic continuity. Material is recycled, energy disperses, structure transforms. This recycling ensures that future stars form from enriched material. Each generation carries the legacy of those before it. Heavier elements accumulate. Complexity increases. Possibility expands. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe, all were forged in stars that completed their life cycles long before the Earth existed. Their endings made your beginning possible. This is not sentiment. It is astrophysics. As you rest, consider that your own cycles, waking and sleeping, effort and recovery, are reflections of these larger rhythms. Activity is followed by rest. Expansion is followed by release. Nothing is required to remain active forever. Sleep is not a failure of consciousness. It is maintenance. Your mind, like a star, has spent the day producing energy, processing information, sustaining structure. Now it is time to cool gently, to redistribute, to restore balance. There is no need to force this process. It will occur naturally if you allow it. Let your breathing slow further. Let each exhale be a quiet shedding, like a star releasing its outer layers into space. Unburdened. The universe continues its long, patient evolution. You are free to let go. At the largest scale, the story of stars becomes the story of the universe itself, not as a dramatic saga, but as a long, methodical, unfolding governed by simple principles, applied patiently over immense spans of time. The universe began in a state of extraordinary density and temperature. In its earliest moments, it expanded rapidly, cooling as it grew. Matter formed, energy spread, structure emerged slowly, reluctantly, as gravity gathered material into the first stars and galaxies. Those earliest stars were different from those we know now. They were massive, short-lived, composed almost entirely of hydrogen and helium. They burned brightly and ended quickly, enriching the cosmos with the first heavy elements. Without them, later generations of stars, and everything dependent on them, would not exist. With each cycle, the universe became more chemically complex. Clouds became richer. Stars formed with more variety. Planets became possible. Environments diversified. Somewhere within this progression, conditions aligned just precisely enough for awareness to arise. This awareness, fragile, temporary, and remarkable, looks back at the universe and asks how it began. The universe, in response, continues behaving exactly as it always has. Stars still form in cold clouds. Gravity still gathers matter. Fusion still ignites. Light still travels across space at a constant speed, indifferent to observation. Galaxies still rotate. Time still moves forward, one moment at a time. There is something deeply calming about this continuity. No matter how complex systems become, they are built from the same fundamental rules. No matter how vast the universe grows, it remains comprehensible in pieces. No matter how fleeting individual experiences may be, they occur within a framework that is stable beyond imagination. As you rest here, you are not separate from this story. You are a temporary configuration of cosmic material, arranged carefully enough to perceive warmth, sound, and calm. This configuration does not need to persist forever to be meaningful. Stars do not regret their endings. They do not cling to earlier phases. They transition, release, and contribute onward. You are allowed to do the same. The day has burned its fuel. Thoughts have fused and released energy. Now the system naturally shifts toward rest. There is no requirement to stay alert, no advantage in continued analysis. The universe does not expect vigilance from you. If there is anything left unresolved, it can wait. Stars have waited billions of years without concern. You can wait until morning. Let your awareness narrow gently, like a star cooling after a long, luminous phase. Sensations soften, boundaries blur. The need to define and explain dissolves. There is only quiet continuity now. Before silence fully arrives, there is still value in lingering with the quiet mechanics of the universe, the subtle processes that continue whether they are observed or not. Stars, after all, spend most of their existence doing nothing remarkable from moment to moment. They simply continue. Inside a stable star, nothing feels dramatic. Fusion proceeds at a steady pace. Energy diffuses outward. Pressure balances gravity with exquisite precision. There are no announcements, no milestones, no awareness that anything important is happening. And yet everything important is happening. This is an overlooked truth. Significance does not require intensity. It requires consistency. The majority of a star's life is spent in this calm equilibrium, not in birth, not in death, but in long, uninterrupted stability. This is when stars do their most meaningful work, providing energy, defining environments, enabling complexity. The universe favors systems that endure quietly. It is easy to believe that rest is inactivity, but in stellar terms, rest is productivity at its most refined. The star is not struggling. It is not resisting change. It is simply allowing physical laws to operate smoothly. Your body understands this pattern intuitively. When you sleep, processes continue. Repair, regulation, memory consolidation. Nothing stops. It merely becomes quieter. As your awareness softens, imagine yourself adopting the posture of a star in equilibrium. No effort, no collapse, no expansion, just balance. Beyond individual stars lies the vast, nearly empty space between them, the interstellar medium. This region is not truly empty. It contains thin traces of gas, drifting dust, faint magnetic fields, and the lingering echoes of past stellar events. This space is patient. Atoms move slowly here. Collisions are rare. Time stretches. A single particle may travel for millions of years before interacting with another. There is no urgency, because nothing is scarce. Eventually, this diffuse material may gather again. Gravity, subtle but relentless, draws particles together. Density increases. Motion slows. The conditions for star formation quietly reassemble. This means that the universe is always preparing for the future, even when nothing appears to be happening. Preparation does not announce itself. In your own rest, something similar occurs. Even as conscious thought fades, your mind organizes, filters, integrates. The day's experiences settle into long-term patterns. Noise becomes structure. There is no need to supervise this process. It evolved without instruction. If thoughts arise now, they are like lone atoms drifting through interstellar space. They do not need to connect. They can simply pass through awareness and continue on. Stillness is not emptiness. It is spaciousness. Consider now the scale of time itself. Stellar time, galactic time, cosmic time. A single second means very little to a star. A year is barely noticeable. Even 1,000,000 years passes without comment. Stars measure existence in fuel, not moments. This difference in scale can feel unsettling or deeply reassuring. It means that urgency is a local illusion. Nothing in the universe requires immediate resolution. Processes unfold when conditions allow. Outcomes emerge when prerequisites are met. Waiting is not wasted time. It is an integral component of change. The night sky you might see outside your window is a record of different moments in time. Some stars are seen as they were years ago, others as they were centuries ago. Some no longer exist at all. And yet, the light arrives calmly, without explanation. You are allowed to experience time differently now. There is no schedule to maintain, no deadline to meet, no reason to track minutes. Sleep dissolves time into something softer. Even order itself has limits. Over incomprehensibly long durations, stars exhaust their fuel. Galaxies drift apart. Energy spreads thinly across space. The universe trends towards simplicity. This is not decay. It is relaxation. Physicists call this increase in entropy, a movement toward equilibrium, a state where energy differences smooth out, where sharp contrasts fade, where everything becomes evenly distributed. It is the universe letting go. This process is not sad. It is not bleak. It is neutral, peaceful, inevitable. Sharp structures require effort to maintain. Soft uniformity does not. As you rest, you are participating in this universal preference for ease. Muscles release tension. Thoughts lose sharp edges. Awareness spreads gently, without focus. There is no need to hold yourself together tightly anymore. The universe is very good at continuing without tension. And finally, before words themselves become unnecessary, there is one last observation worth making. Despite all its vastness, complexity, and age, the universe has never required you to understand it in order to exist within it. Stars do not check for comprehension. Galaxies do not wait for approval. You are allowed to be here without explanation. Your presence does not need justification. Your rest does not need permission. Your sleep does not need purpose beyond restoration. Stars shine without intention. You may rest without intention. As the final thoughts dissolve, allow yourself to drift into the same quiet state stars occupy between reactions. A pause that is not empty, only still. Breath in, breath out, a steady exchange, nothing more required. Thank you for allowing this journey to accompany you through the threshold of rest. Thank you for listening, for breathing, for existing within the long patience of the cosmos. Somewhere, stars are being born in silence. Others are shining steadily. Others are releasing their final warmth into the dark. All of it continues without effort. You do not need to follow it anymore tonight. Let the words fade. Let the images dissolve. Let the universe carry on without your attention. Sleep gently, and when silence arrives, allow it to remain.